Physical Education and Sports in the Ministry of Education and Sports. On my left, who are you?
I'm Dembe Haidaram Lakiada, the Principal Education Officer in the Department of Physical Education and Sports, under his supervision of the coordinator for your activities. Thank you so much for coming.
That communicating I want to bring it to attention of everyone. What is on our tables is too much. So we cannot complete. I want to welcome you to this meeting and congratulate you upon finishing all those many planned activities. Let us give you what it has been a lot. And I've been looking forward to have this. I want to thank Hajara. Has come to the meeting forcefully, right? And so that's why I couldn't come here to miss when I'm waiting for people who are late in the rain. For us, whether it was rain or what, it must be in office. I was there by 8. So I want to thank you that you have managed to come. I've been looking for about this. In management, where I got any activity which you do and you do not evaluate it, you are actually going to repeat the same mistakes of the previous project, and there will be no development and there will be no sustainability. Whenever you do a project or an activity, it is very important that you do what we call the SWOT that was changed by many to SCOT, because people fear weaknesses. They want to transfer them, so we call them challenges. So the SWOT changed into the SCOT. And therefore it is very important. And one of the wise men said you cannot do the same things repeatedly and expect different results. So in order to run out from doing the same things, that's why we say we need an evaluation to see where we did it well. We said, wow, we continue with this. Where we got challenges, we look for opportunities to solve the challenges. Where we have threats, we target them. And whether we see to make sure that all the time in this meeting, we expect brief reports from different associations. Brief reports that we move on very well. But I want to thank you seriously and strongly for the work you are doing down. We can't do it. We can't do it. And you have been doing the best. Some of you, when we were in East African Games, we had a meeting like this where our president, the man we have here, His Excellency Justice Mugisha, he is a president of USSA in Uganda, but he's also a president of Federation of East African School Sports Association in East Africa. So when we were there, he did a good thing. He invited all countries to come and we share experiences and learn from one another. So Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. I used to think Uganda, we were very up, but also Kenya came and said, if we talk about our budget here, you will all stop sports in your country. We go to worry. But then they came with money, we were able to beat them with little money. So we need to share. So Uganda can share how they use little money to get more gold medals. Kenya shares how they get more money. That Uganda picks how to get money, but Kenya also picks how to get medals with the little money. Because you are facilitated well and you go without trophies. Can you imagine Kenya went with one gold? Or was there any gold before Kenya? Yeah. No, Kenya went with around 7, I think. So that's why we are here. I want us to share that, and if we share in the same manner, the discussions will be general. Have an MOU with the Ministry of Education and Sports, such that we really understand who does what in that association. Number 2, the association should be a registered entity. The new law we have, sports law, talks about dealing with people who are registered. Even federations and those ones, FUFA, you can imagine how big FUFA is. It is going to re-register. Isn't it that Justice? No, Justice is the first vice president. So you need to be registered. We need to go to, you need to exist. We don't want pocket federations and associations where you find the chairman, the president is here, the wife or his deputy here, and then the boss of his is here, and then the nanny. So when he's there, it is 1 tree with just branches. No, we want to have, right? You see, I'm standing up to stress the point. You need to be registered. You need a constitution. Which constitution you must be following? The things you have had are suffering with Netball Federation. The challenge is that the constitution was put aside and they did different. We are meeting challenges. So please, we will need a constitution. And finally, any government money given to you should be accounted for. Within how many days? You have some, eh? Are they 30 really?
1 month.
Within 1 month. So to me, if I were you, I would make sure that after 15 days after an activity, I make accountability. The only association that has been perfect on submitting accountability is USSSA. The others, but there is now one that came at least. There are those, ever since I became a commissioner, have never submitted accountability. Then their executive I've never seen. When you go, you find 4 people, they say others were here, but they have gone. They just know that. I've never seen the executive. I see like 1, 2, 3, and I finish. Others, even if you go to their, they will tell you there is an executive, you'll see minutes that they were somewhere, they made this condition. So those are the points I wanted. With those, I wish you nice deliberations. We are supposed to have activity reports. We are going to have activity reports first. The work plan will also include the calendar, right? But I don't see us as a projector here. Oh, yeah, it's there. So, projector man, and made a plan for him where we didn't know. You didn't consult anyone of us to create him. You brought him on earth by yourself, and you decided to take him by yourself. At the time you had planned for him. We admired his hard work, his commitment, especially to the sports subsector. We still pray and beseech thee, O God, that you allow his soul rest in peace. Amen. You can even see
so this is our brief presentation.
yes.
This association is the association that will complain and brings together all the
Each presentation will be given to us in both hard copy and soft copy. Thank you.
So we bring together all diploma awarding institutions for the purpose of developing talents of students, and so was formed way back in 2015. Yeah, I'm just interim and I'm just holding up all this office.
Okay.
So next slide. The purpose is to mobilize members, member institutions to participate in the project sports activities.
Good morning, Mr. Commissioner. My name again is Charles Odigo. They represent the Training Institutions Association. So our association, we are Health Training Games and Sports Association, which is a young association. We play a role in promoting games and sports among students in health training institutions in Uganda. We are under the Association of Principals for Health Training Institutions in Uganda called APTU. We started regionalization. We created 15 regions across the country. We have Ankole region, Greater Masaka region, Greater Mukono region, etc. And now we have qualification for national championship. Schools now engage in spirited competitions within their respective regions, vying for the opportunities to qualify for.
He was happy and he got up and the president had requested, the USSA president had requested for support that we put regional stadia in schools. And I tell you, the president said, wow, said he will strongly support. So, I know I have a challenge with the federations. When FUFA requested for more money, instead of federations using that to get more money, they started fighting that they reduce money. Now the president, USSA went, it could not ask for PES institutions. It asked that each region, in the 19 region in the country, the president puts a sports facilities in 2 schools. But when the president got up, he offered 1 per region. Those means 19 schools in Uganda having full sports facilities. Now for you, when you are in that region, it's a matter of having a health institution here. You use the facilities, isn't it? So don't go behind now like the other teachers of science who were being fault that they had gotten more salary. Instead of the arts guys saying also give us, they decided to fight those who have already got. No, when you are jealous of those who have got, you will never reach that. It's by bureau. Be happy that other people have achieved. So let us congratulate the president. Even the president promised him vehicles in regions. Can you imagine? Vehicles. You'll be in the north, you see USSA bus. Thank you, Mr. President. USSA, please, you are ready.
Well, Chair, our activities is big, and given the time you have allocated to us,
yes, so me, I am chair. Don't nani me. We will control you. So number 1, we have seen page 1.
so you can run through that.
Yes.
That we look at governance. We don't want to talk about that because I think here there was mainly activity. So, but that's our governance system. We can roll and we go on. Those messages can be read. That's the. Let's go to the activity straight. Okay, that is capacity building. USSA embarked on capacity building, where we trained game teachers and the students in the area of coaching, refereeing, and the media. These capacity building courses are running on, they are ongoing, and we are going to conduct. So far, the outcome of this has been that 6,750 game teachers and students have been trained in the area of coaching, refereeing, and media in various sports disciplines, mainly athletics, football, basketball, volleyball, handball, bat and racket games. Bat and racket games are tennis, badminton, and etc. So those capacity building courses are very, very vital. We hope in future people will not have a problem of getting officials to officiate matches, especially in the countryside areas where there is always problem of getting referees. We also hope that schools will have immediate coaches among the students themselves to coach the various teams within the school. And we hope that these people will progress on and they will become professional in those areas as they go. That's capacity building. Let's go ahead. So the sports activities, last year we started with elite games. Now these elite games are precursor of our national championship. We had them in Mbarara High, They were hosted by Barara High School in Barara City, and the outcome was very good. Let's go on. This was followed by, slowly, this was followed by secondary school football championship in Nyakasura, where we had over 1,200 participants. Very college Rosa Kabale with over 7,600 participants in the area of athletics, football, under 16 football, volleyball, handball, netball, rugby, beach football, beach soccer, lacrosse, and so forth. There were over about 8 to 9 disciplines. Then after ball games too, we had the swimming gala. We have a national swimming gala. This one was also at Green Hill Academy with over 300 swimmers participating. And from there we selected 30 swimmers to represent the country in the Piazza Games. Next activity after all those national championships, we get teams which represent Uganda in the Piazza Games, which were held in Rwanda. We took over 1,113 participants with over 500 officials. But we ourselves, we found out that we are not very much aware of what special needs is, but we have decided that one of the capacity building we are planning, it will be national for special needs teachers, which we are going to organize, I think in Arua. We are going to organize one in Arua. The idea is to sensitize our teachers about special needs, but we are very much aware of it, and we are going to start involving them in our activity next year. Maybe the activities of next year, I think, will come next. I don't know whether we should do them now. Activity 2024. Okay.
Maybe to add on that, Commissioner.
Yes.
In whatever we are doing, we believe in about 3 things. One of them is that we believe in mass sports. At every level, we want to involve as many students, as many as possible. That's why he was talking about numbers of 6,000, 7,000 at all levels. And then we also believe in bringing games together. There's a time when every sport would go out together at once, alone, but now we've grouped them into those 3, and we now go out once, but we have different games. Then also, we also believe in cost sharing. Much as many of you believe that we get a lot of money, yes, but that money is not enough, because we are looking at very many runners, and because of that you find that in our program we normally do what we call cost sharing. The money which we have actually, which we get, would not even be enough to just cover Fiesta Games alone. But because we are able to cost share with schools, we are actually trying to do much. Then the other one is the exposure. Our games are meant to expose students at all levels. And now that we have gone international, we are exposing them at the African level, we are exposing them at ISF. The results are coming instantly. This week, they named the national team, and the national team was a student of senior 4, senior 3, of Bukedia Amos, and this is the player who played in the Coca-Cola Games. From there he went on, he played in the Fiesta Games. He also played in the ISF Games, and he was a top scorer. He also played in Masaza and was a top scorer, and he has now been identified. He is among only 12 players whom they picked from Uganda to go and join the internationals to go and play, and we hope that that one. Then we also have had good results in the table tennis and everything. Thank you so much. I thought I should add that one there.
Thank you very much. I think USSA also has online registration, as I've heard people saying, to mention but a few. Let us have primary.
We've been getting some small numbers in ball games, high numbers in athletics, and the reason is being that in athletics very many teams take part, but the current funding has now brought most teams on board, be it football, be it athletics. So in Mbarara, for example, we got the highest number ever realized, over 135 districts stand up, compared to 90 when we were for board games in Sakap. Again, other issues, I will leave them the way they are because you have to read them in the interest of time. But one good thing with Commission, I would like to mention that another achievement we have got since we began was partnership with the USSA. The USSA people came to us and we got their idea. They've been so friendly to us and indeed have improved the game in primary section. We have already held capacity building for all games teachers countrywide. First of its kind in Mbarara, over 256 sports teachers were trained in coaching, refereeing, umpiring, and the rest.
I think it is the first of its kind.
First of its kind, because the funds are provided by USSA.
I'm the first commissioner to do
Please. As we proceed, Commissioner, even we appreciate the funding from the ministry, which was on spot. We had that funding and we used it very well. Again, first of its kind, we have accredited all the participants in the championship. We were able to say this child is from Kitgum, it's called this, participating in this, of this age, of this size. It was so good, and also first of its kind, with assistance from again Uganda Secondary School Association. The increased number of participation in ball games had over 5,007.
And this includes institutions like vocational training centers. We have community polytechnics, and then we have technical schools. All these, we categorize them and call them vocational schools, numbering 42 in number. We have recently had our 9th edition of the National Championship in Apache, where we participated in very many activities from 2nd to 12th of May. And we saw 20 schools participating out of the 42, which still raises a concern. And about 893 participants participating. We have planned a few activities.
Two, I would request that the press call all heads of vocational schools in a meeting to show them the goodness and the roles of their roles in institutions as far as PES is concerned. Advocate for school buses so that this issue of saying that transport cost is too high. If we can have those buses, then fuel will not be a big problem to these institutions. Last but not least, I wish to say that DLO have been toiling to have this championship stand. At first we started at regional level, but above 2013 Southern said no, this regional level is again too costly for the institutions. Have regions, from region then you go to national. They decided to have national championship once, and in 2014 we started with the northern, so it is hosted regional wise. Yeah.
I teach at River College School in Busoga region, and I'm also privileged to be a chairperson of the Technical Commission, USA, and I'm thankful my president and my CEO are here present. So I'm a physical education teacher and I promote physical education.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, sir. All right, let me just close this very quickly. Preamble, why did we start this way? One, we realize the need of mutual cooperation for all physical education teachers. Two, we recognize the need of participation in the development of ourselves, the community, and the schools. Three, acknowledging the work done by physical education teachers and also those who are doing some sporting activities. Four, bearing in mind that for the sustainable development to take place, physical education teachers must come together to make a difference in this country. Mission and objectives. Our mission, to contribute to the development of better through improvement and development of programs, provision of financial and material support, and enhancing networking and career development among the physical education teachers. I've had primary teachers have an issue. We are present and I'm here. As a teacher, I wish you have of help to physical education. And please, my contacts will be given. Objectives. Nurture PE teachers' talent and skills. That's the more reason why I'm standing here, Mr. Commissioner. Promote professionalism among PE teachers. You've just spoken about it very well, and I think professionalism is key in as much as you're doing what you're supposed to do. Enhance economic empowerment. Economically, you must be well empowered. Improve quality of teachers. Teaching is not only just a mere standing out, but the quality is also very critical. Development of PE policy, It's important for us to have a physical education policy that will be able to describe and show the mandate. Being the strong networking nationally and internationally, you've seen how USA has moved from the national level to the international level. We feel physical education should do the same in terms of exhibition and talent exportation. Lobby for financial support for various physical education activities. What has been done so far, Mr. Commissioner? Constitutional consultative meeting are now ready for registration. We're going to submit a copy to your office for further improvement. We have also come up with a better code of conduct. One thing is you come together, but you must have a code of conduct that governs you. It's also in place. Yes. Then, capacity building programs. We had Wero, Kawale, Chibuli, and many others are coming up. Why? We believe that physical education teachers must go forward and do something credible. Regional physical education exhibitions. We had Midwestern region, Eastern region, and we are trying to expand it further out of the 13 ASH regions. Networking and holding workshops with regional and district sports officers is critical. Sports officers are doing a great job in those districts, and therefore we must cooperate with them. And so we have visited a number of them, brought their contacts, and we engage into their programs. Then annual Jury National Exhibition held at Chibuli. We thank you so much, Mr. Commissioner, that you gathered all of us at that point in time. Of course, we did a wonderful job. And I believe every year we can hold that also and continue. Promotion of inter-school district physical education interactions. Why? Schools need to compete together in terms of the physical improvisation material. And we're doing a lot of encouragement of the various schools to do this and improve their well-being.
I'm presenting on behalf of the executive of Vice. I'm Kenya Godfrey, and I'm the Vice Chairperson Administration. It would be unfair if I don't talk about our institutions. We have courses that we offer. They range from automotive to fabric and interior design. Where I talk about it, we have secondary institutions here, we have primary, and these are people that we expect to come to our institutions. So you also have relatives. If you feel they should bring the education, I think these are the being fitness of being in anything. But now we are training children in those different institutions. At the end of the day, they need employment. And for me, I observe that one of the areas that we need to begin thinking about is employment. When, for example, when we train people to manage these games, when we begin producing equipment, those that we can, I think we are going to develop the industry further.
To see that we are building. So I look back where we started, and we are few people, and the things we are talking, many people will not understand. The last time I was in Kibuli, I was trying to see how do we build a house for sports and physical education in this country. I wanted to see the foundation, and that foundation is in the primary schools. I wanted to see it linked to the secondary schools. I can see that. I've been for some time since I was in Yondo. When she called me in, I was trying to understand these activities. But by now listening in, I can understand the story, and I know the ladder where they are in the pyramid. I first worked in the NTC and the collegiate, which I left as Jambogo, left to become a university. I can see the gap before, but now I can see how we can bridge it within the college. The last assignment she was giving me, and I was not understanding, says, you make a constitution, you make a program, and I did not quite. Actually, we had a lot of exchange. I said, but what are you asking me? But now I understand the task. What I did not see, or the people I did not see, were the universities. But I can see now we are building the pyramid, and we see how to do it. The other things also where there have been gaps, maybe some of us were too busy. When I saw Upeta in and listened to the presentation, I said, thank God now they picked up that part. Because at one time we had people, we had not Upeta, but we had UPESTA, Uganda Physical Education and Sports Teachers Association, which as people grew and became principals, became head teachers, they left that gap. But now I can see the gap is being filled, and I'm happy. I think we can do a lot of things. When I had his presentation and he was talking about industry, whereas before we have been talking about a profession, I now begin to see the industrial in he bringing in, and the employment aspect that is bringing in for us secondary students and other people who join the sector. When I heard him talk, and he talked about the deficiencies in the teachers and the lack of leadership, I now begin to understand, because I ran Olympic Solidarity Sports Leadership Training. And the people, some of the people that are in leadership today in our federations were people I trained. But I would bring them as teachers, please come, please come.
It's including Achon, who is in Parliament, sports ambassador. So I'm glad you are still in the system. One thing you talked about the presidential pledge of regional stadia in 19 schools, in 19 regions. I think as PES, you need to start on the criteria of identifying these schools, so that when you are following up, you know exactly what you are going to do. I was going to about the issue of training, coaches, refs, the teachers, training them in those areas, and the students. And I think for sustainability, you need to throw the net wider, that train more teachers and students together for exit, because teachers are transferable, they retire, they die, and so on. But this is a very good thing. I don't know whether you have explored looking at the community as well, because the community also needs these people to officiate games outside school. Thank you.
This I don't know good primary school in good by name, and then we have Raibe hosting secondary. We would tell a minister that on this day you open games in Raibe, but on the next day you open games of primary. It would be easier for us, and then for us we are near there moving together. Then another time we are this side now, not necessarily in one school but in different institutes. There we can even have games running at the same time. But I tell you, if we were to spread all of you in the holiday, such as that you don't collide, and there are people I have never come to their championships. Not that I hate them, no. Because of the program, it becomes too difficult. One of my people, Mr. Gunta, was annoyed the way we had our congested program. So it is going to be one of the things you are going to see. I think as you tell, you need to put that. Masan and his law funding is what we are. Registration will help you to have accounts. Me, I am tired of sending
to this meeting and the contributions that you've made. Let us get serious for the areas which have been observed to be gaps. But we need to work together. You know, in the department we are too few and we have a very big mandate. Don't sit back and wait for the desk officers to complete everything for you. Work with us, do much work from there. You are our source of work. I thank you so much for the good that you have done. For what is lacking, work together to bring the gaps. And for the future, we advise each other so that we can achieve. God bless you all.
Thank you. Give her a very big hand clap.
And today, going to South Africa?
We have given the guidance. We gave guidance.
Yeah.
in about a month. But I come from a very rural school, Lost Counties. Don't know where it is, but was one of the remotest centers. And while I was a kid, I happened to be lucky. My father and my mother were teachers, and I picked up this education from there. Doing a little bit of gymnastics when I was a kid, then football, then running against my brother, running to school through primary. Then I found myself in a school that was in sports. At least we had about 12 sports in that school, and I tried out things here and there. I got into football, I was injured, and when I left football, one of the men that kicked me out of the football went to play at the national team, but I went now to athletics and concentrated on personal. This is what brought me finally as a hobby. I didn't know what it was, but until I came to Makerere and I met this man. My first time met him, there was a competition that was organized, and it was Lumumba. I had been transferred from Livingstone Hall to Lumumba. And we'd been running a pressure training the boys part until we appeared that afternoon. It was cross country and we ran. And I came number 7. But number 7 with a pack of boys, and we changed the history in that Makerere because we got a trophy. And then they carried me towards Lumumba Hall. Our elephant. That's how I discovered myself now that there was a gap for me to get involved. I had done a BSc, zoology, psychology, mathematics. But later I said, but why don't I do the things that I wanted? I want to do physical education because I love doing that with my father. That's how I came into sports, and I have stayed there now since 82. Is over 40 years as a professional after doing a PGD. So if you talk about my doctorate, it's in that area. Even after leaving Chambogo, I've been interested in doing this work. But this work here is of special interest.
You also very soon you will acquire. So
Traditional doctor.
Yes, yes.
Briefly, let me talk about myself. I'm called Secondary Bashir. I work as education officer at Namasumbi Secondary School, physical education. I'm a part-time technician at Chambogo University. And I'm a national coach for Special Olympics in Uganda for table tennis and athletics. A coach at Chambogo University para team coach. I'm one advisor of international advisor, Vero Foundation Uganda on matters of inclusive sports. Author of physical education books, book 3 and 4. And author of table tennis and woodball with Elite Publishers. Currently, I'm one ambassador of International Organization for Health, Sports and Kinesiology, USA, and I'm a DIT assessor.
These are the people who are freestyle.
So,
okay. Thank you, Chair. I'm Richard Gilbert. I happen to have 2 professions. I'm a teacher, biology, physical education, and I'm a sports scientist. I also happen to be a product of the 2 universities, Makerere and Chambogo University. I've taught for the last 13 years biology and physical education, and I've worked with different organizations in the areas of sports management and organization. I've worked with UA for 1 year. I've worked with Kawara University in the Department of Open and Distance Learning, teaching physical education for 3 years. I also worked with Metropolitan International University based in Kisoro, and
teaching physical education and sports. I happen to be a coach of athletics, basically working with the Uganda district athletics team and some academies which are there of athletics since 2013. And I'm a master trainer for physical education, working with NCDC, and I'm happy to be a delegate of athletics, UAF, for Kabale since 2016. Thank you. I'm making 36.
Good evening, friends. Again, I want to thank you for devoting your valuable time to this. We sometimes take things for granted, but if someone has devoted a day, will come another day, I think we need to consider him very deeply. Colleagues, you are here. We are all struggling to have physical education be visible. Not so. We are already blessed with the presence of making physical education compulsory in S1 and S2. Where it was 208, I think, when Tamazire had convinced her, having been a head teacher, having been a teacher, and being in charge of physical education. At that time, she had made it compulsory. But we know what happens in Uganda. No teacher teaches unless the thing is examinable. So, and we are in that zone where we are not examinable. But I'm sure we can make part. Now, we have a very big allegiance. I have not seen someone who are from
Health training institution.
Health training institution. But I would like someone deep into the Ministry of Health. We must make this person part and parcel of our program. Because the area we can mostly, that will give us leverage, they are mostly two. Health for the nation and provision of employment for the youth. That's what, when you are looking at the thinking of the president, of the planning man there, they are looking at what? At health the nation, and they're also looking at income. So we must be able to highlight these ones very strongly in our, because we shall be answering the health and then employment for the youth. Once we have done that in our papers, we shall be making a move. Don't get worried. We are very few. We started on this, the budgeting we are going in Hajara, and told is the program budget. Now there are areas that need urgent programs. For example, the program of human resource. Human resource in physical education is very critical. It's a shame that we can still employ coaches who don't even have never coached a team in football here. But it is all, if we are asked technically that Uganda should host handball, we can't because they require how many qualified coaches do you have, how many qualified referees do you have, how many of these. So the area of human resource is too what? Vacant. But then at the same time, it is also a provision of employment. So we must look at human resource training with what? With training. The issue of teachers. I am not comfortable with non-teachers to go into the schools. I'm not. You bring an ordinary coach, you take her or him into the school. This person is not a teacher. We already have teachers within the schools. Why can't we have a program of training these teachers as referees in football, volleyball, and program? Why can't we have them as coaches? A games teacher in the school cannot look after 10 sports. We're discussing that one day. You can't be good in volleyball, basketball, football. But other teachers can be interested in that. So we have a program of creating coaches of the school. He may be a teacher of maths. Does that stop him from coaching the football? So these are, and you are using the same resource in the school. It is sustainable and cuts out unnecessary intervention. Someone who is not a member of the staff becomes difficult to do what? And he is coaching this team. Then lastly, don't worry, but be concerned. If you worry, say, but let's be concerned. There are very few. When I was in the department, we did not have 400 million shillings as our budget in the year. We're talking of how many billions now these days, Hajara?
We have operated with 16 billion.
So, but I was at 400. But I was able to go around the country and start creating a base for teachers who are in the teaching profession to take care of the programs in the school. So we need to look at that. So lastly but not least, I want to thank Ajay. These programs which don't have money, no one takes them up. When you see people moving all over, you say, you know, there is what? So to have that sacrifice, you move there, you move there, you move there, you move there, people say, ni money mfachi. So you need a determined woman like that and said, our line is on that. So in summary, when we are talking of physical education, you have to highlight the issue of human resource. If there is no human resource, forget you will not be able to implement what. Second, you have to look at the issues of policies, the laws that govern the what? That activity. Third, the issue of facilities and what? And equipment. Then, sports once we are in schools, once our school program for sports is okay, then the clubs will do what? We will benefit. In 1976, when I was in the national team, 75-76, in the national athletics team, we had few institutions, Makerere University, prisons, police, army, Bank of Uganda, the post office. And the country was running very high in track and field athletics. So we do not have the human resource now to go over the country. But we need core people like you who are going to carry the banner. But more importantly, the other man, who is this doctor who was there? We must show that what we are defending, we know it. We must show that what we are defending, we know it. If they ask you and you find that they say, what he's doing is what is it? So you must, even if you are not from the field of physical education, know the basics. Why have physical education? Why have sports? And my colleague here, my namesake, asked, for these years, the number of years and the amount of money we have put in football, why can't we go beyond East Africa? Why can't we go beyond East Africa? It's a very big question that we should be able to answer. But when we are allocating money, we give it to the wrong people. We are going to give it to the wrong people. Then lastly, but not least, we must also look at the issue of connecting sports federations with the school system. If you look at UP and what is this other thing? USE. Technically, everyone should be in the school system. So when you are talking of community sports, who is in the community that is going? Which talent are you looking for in the community? This talent is already at school. So we should link we look at the federations programs and we link them with what? But often that you find the federations people are not linking with the education piece. I remember one Gunta said that Uganda is among the most lucky countries. Why? Because sports is under education. And the reason is very simple. All these sports you are talking about, we are running all of them at school. All of them are literally important. football, athletics, and so on. What we are talking of, the traditional games, they are not in our main line of what? Of curriculum. So we shall move, and people are looking for us to move. Strengthen where you are, and move on. And Huamungu is a teacher, an ordinary teacher in a secondary school. You do teach. What is your teaching subject?
Physical education.
What else?
Physical education biology.
So you must take up the job of educating people. If you ask a maths teacher the relationship between physical education and maths, it's your job to explain that. You must be able to explain the relationship between physical education and CRE. So that these people come to understand. But if you are unable to do it, then you will be marginalized. Lastly but not least, if you are advocate for physical education, you cannot afford not to look physical. You can't afford to not look what? The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you do things, you have to be physical. If you are not physical, it means you are not physically what? Educated. You get me? It means you are not physically. Yes. It is an abnormality for me at my age to be carrying a pregnancy of 6 months. For what? So we have all those jobs. We must look at physical education. What? The thing we are projecting must be seen in us.
Must be ambassadors.
Yes. The things we are projecting must be seen in us. Finally, allow me to thank you for inviting me for this thing. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be in Utabika, but when I have the time and I recorded, Ajara rang me in time. I said, this is okay now that you have rang me in time, I'll be able to come. Because if you have not been in physical activity, start yesterday. Start what?
Yesterday.
Not so. This Chris man were together in Leeds. He was suffering. Chris did a lot for athletics. When he was in Makerere College School, he had what we would call everyday hockey. And some of the top athletes in the country were in Makerere College School. But you know, when we are doing some of these athletics, when we look at him in UF, we might not want him to be around. Not so. But for us, if we are doing an activity that we knew that the beneficiary benefited, that is our payment. Not so. That is our payment. So he did a very good job in that college school. I was asking him, our former head teacher, Chimoli, where he is. And Chimoli would get me where I am, say, Dan, come and organize athletics. Say, this is very great. So we must invest in this. But, Hajar, what happened to the idea of sports?
Schools.
Sports centers, yes.
Sports centers.
Yes, the centers of excellence. Because the idea was very simple, that the country does not have a lot of money. So what we do, we look in each of the regions and so and establish. And our job as the ministry, we are saying the little money, when we go to construct the school, let's say the upgrading of the coming program, one of the things we are putting up is now what? Maybe an indoor sports field and a small what? Ground. As part of the what? Of the program. In those sports centers and in the teaching and the posting of the teachers, we are posting teachers who are interested in sports in those schools, and the head teachers who are going to do what? It is easy. And those facilities are owned by the school, like what? A lab. They are part of the physical education teaching. But tell you what, they will build this machine thing. Go there after 10 years, it will be routine. No one will be using it every day. But in a school setting, there the boys and the girls will be using that sports facility. And the head teacher is there. It will be part of the lab program. You go to Nambori, the damn thing is filled maximum twice a year. So it must rot, and it is in Kampala. So in terms of the facilities, maybe what you have to highlight is in the program that we still need to advocate for centers of what? Of excellence based in schools. And when you are constructing that small stadium, you link it to the school. The school owns it, but has a facility open to the community. Are we together? Sorry for taking too long because I'm too much of a talker, but I wish you, thank you for giving me this little chance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.